Broadcasting from South London once again, this is episode 8 of TFix Podcast called Illegal Access to the Building, Bad Business Reviews and Long Service Times. I'm Tad, the owner of TFix, and in front of me is Anthony, my colleague and supervisor of our repairs department.
How you doing?
During our TFix podcast in general, we usually discuss the highs and lows of tech recycling life. And today we'll talk about how people are still trying to access our building, the increase of bad reviews people leave online, and our workload still increasing and decreasing, and how we deal with long service times.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that didn't make sense, but we'll talk it through.
Yeah, it's all good. So I think this is going to be a bit of a spicy episode because we're basically decided to go over these topics because of things that have happened to us quite recently.
Yeah.
And it's something that's worth discussing for sure. People are still trying to access the building now. In terms of the coronavirus and the lockdown, as you know, with the way the government are planning to do things are a bit more relaxed than they were last week. But that being said, coming into the building, all the rules with social distancing, they do all still apply, even if the rules have been relaxed a little bit.
Yeah, and another thing is, we have our own rules.
Yes.
And we have our own policies. And these are being like completely disrespectful. I want to share a story.
Yes.
Of a guy. Like, imagine that I'm sitting in the reception, chilling as usual, and intercom rings up. I pick it up, and there's a guy telling me he came over to pick up his drone, and he demands to come in and pay the money and pick up his service drone. My typical reaction is, I'm extremely sorry, but our policy is we do not allow anyone to walk in due to current situation, and we're supporting the current situation, and we're not going to let you in. And he's adamant. He's so rude. He's so rude. He's just like, I know who you are. I know everything. I don't care. I want to come in, and I wanna get my thing from you. And I'm like, no matter what you say, it's still gonna be the same. Rules are rules.
Yeah,
rules are rules for everyone, and you're gonna have to go back or go on your phone, pay for shipping, and we're gonna ship it to you, and you receive it tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's like, no. I hang up the intercom, and like 2 minutes later, I see him on CCTV cameras, and he has gained access to the building somehow.
Yeah, so
deceitfully walking with someone else, or like lying at the door.
That's it. So he either followed somebody and either followed an employee in, or he called up the general reception and lied about who he was. He probably just said he was a delivery
the general
driver.
reception was closed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was no one there.
Just called someone else and said he was a delivery driver. Then.
Yeah, or someone else, yeah. And he's a big dude, so
yeah.
I see him outside the door, and he knocks on the door. I'm like, this guy's agitated. I'm not letting him in.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into this altercation with him. And I'm like, he sits outside our unit door. I see him on the CCTV cameras, and I see him, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he was there for a while.
He was there for a while, and he's not going anywhere. So I'm like, okay, this situation needs to be sorted. And I'm like, okay, let's compromise. So I let him in, and he's very abusive.
Yeah,
and he goes like,
he gave you a proper mouthful.
Exactly, yeah. And eventually he does pay. We do give him a drone back. We apologize, and we say rules are rules for everyone, and that's why we didn't want to let him in. And the only reason we let him in because we just don't want to get into an argument.
Yeah,
and we
the
don't
only
want
reason
to get
we
into
do
an altercation.
Yeah, the only reason we did it is because you broke the law to get in here in the first place.
Yeah.
And now you're being antagonistic, waiting outside. What are you going to do when a member of staff comes out? Beat
Exactly,
them up?
yeah.
What is this nonsense?
And he deceitfully, illegally gained access to the building. Yeah. So that's the extent people are willing to go and willing to disrespect everything, like government regulations, other people well-being, companies' rules. gaining illegal access to the building and then threatening a company to issue whatever property we hold,
Yeah.
just because they couldn't wait 24 hours.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And that item has been sitting with us for fucking weeks.
yeah. It's absurd. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
absurd. I mean, I can't imagine just having such a blatant disregard for the rules and then just
Yeah.
doing that. Or if a company is adhering to government regulations and they're saying no, you can't come in, we don't have the social distancing in place, or whatever the reason, it doesn't really matter ultimately.
It doesn't matter. The rules. Like, if the company has a policy, it's a policy. Like,
Yeah.
if the company, like, if another human being has some kind of a boundary, you respect that boundary.
Yeah, it's a rule. It's not a challenge. It's a
Yeah.
rule. It's a
For
guideline.
him, it was a challenge.
It was a challenge.
Yeah, and that's not the end of the story. He goes back home and leaves the biggest, nastiest review online.
Yeah, he did. I can't believe that.
And that's completely. And we looked at the history, and we know 2 years ago he left a completely positive review for us. We was completely happy with the service, and the only reason why he left a bad review is because we kind of like we respected our policies and we wanted to have some boundaries in place and just to make sure that the rules are respected by everyone, and we able to provide exactly the same service for everyone. And just because we respected that, he left us a nasty bad review on Google. Yeah,
But I mean, it does prove that I think most people are reasonable, though. If you look- if you look at-
95% of people are reasonable.
Yeah, I think it's even more than that. 99%.
99, yeah.
You know, but you know, this one review, we were looking at it, and I'm just thinking, my God, after everything that's happened in the last 7 weeks,
Yeah,
he's the only person
yeah.
that has reacted like that. I didn't even know what to say. Like,
So,
what are we supposed to do?
99% of people are completely fine, understandable, reasonable, and they respect of what we do. But that 1% makes such a big impact.
Yeah,
Yeah, like one bad review knocked us down to 0.1
on the Google
on a
Analytics
Google,
as well.
on a Google review scale. Yeah. So that's the extent of people willing to go like against everything just to get what they want.
Yeah,
They will disrespect everything.
that really wasn't on. And you know, I think even when he broke into the building and waited outside the door for someone to come out, I think we probably were within our rights to call the police at that point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you know, we just made this decision to just
let's
give away once. Just whatever.
Just let's take the easiest path and just get it over with, and let's forget about it. We need to get back to work.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah. So another thing we want to talk about, just bad reviews in general.
Yeah.
Bad reviews in general and how it affects, because I think people don't realize how our small business is affected by reputation online.
Yes.
And what can a single bad review do to the whole like well-being of the company and the sales and everything and income orders and all that stuff.
It's certainly amplified more when we are trading as an online company.
Yeah. So we made a decision to be an online company only. We do not take any phone calls, and we only reply to all the inquiries once a day.
Yes.
And we don't take any walk-ins, so basically no human interaction whatsoever.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the only difference is, I suppose, before the coronavirus, if you really, really wanted to, you could come to the building and see for yourself that we're actually, you know, here.
Yeah.
And I suppose when we're purely online, the rating is what people are judging us by, and it's solely that.
Solely that, like other people's experiences. And I think we made an episode on how to select best repair company.
Yeah, we did.
And there are quite a few like things you need to look at when selecting a repair company, and reviews is the major thing.
Yeah. So I mean, bad reviews are, of course, no one wants a bad review, but they're particularly detrimental to an online company. But I mean, do you think people are being, not everyone, of course, but do you think some people are being more unreasonable because of COVID-19?
I don't think they're being unreasonable. They just probably want to be treating it as a normal situation, and they don't realize that it's a bit of exceptional situation. Everyone has to make a bit of a compromise. Obviously, we're seeing a big, high influx of work towards us, and what people don't realize that our service times are increasing. We do note that with every single quote, and we do note it on a website which is updated daily and calculated by our AI. But still, people are ignoring it and they expect what do I think?
Yeah.
And I think I should get my computer repaired in, let's say, 3 days. And if they're not going to do it, I'm in a bad mood. I'm going to leave a bad review.
Yeah.
So I think people don't have the correct expectations, and in some situations, it doesn't matter what we do, don't matter how we're gonna try to get our point across. Some people are still gonna ignore it and just be unhappy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter how many times you're gonna put it into an email, people don't read.
And people don't always read.
Yeah, there's always gonna be that 1%.
There'll be that 1%. So we're also talking about, sort of, can people understand the longer responses to our inquiry times? Because we have had to streamline and change a few things. We mentioned, I think it was even in our very first podcast, that we are a little bit shorter staffed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we have, even though we do still respond to people, we have had to limit the times that we do respond to people. We have a window of time in the day that we do that. We can't just have a one-on-one conversation with someone all day, whereas maybe before the pandemic we may have been able to do something like that.
So it's we only respond to inquiries once a day. Open up email, open up our inquiries, and we respond to all of them once a day.
Yeah.
And I had a guy who emailed me 15 times within 24-hour window.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That's a bit unreasonable.
Yeah.
And he had his own dramas, and he had his own compromises, and he just made up with himself.
He kind of, I looked
within
at the
24
emails.
hours.
Yeah, I looked at them, and it almost looked like he'd had a kind of conflict with himself. It just didn't.
And
make
a
any
resolution
sense.
And another conflict.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of them, and in these kind of situations, people are a bit unreasonable, expecting that we will be able. Would you expect any kind of company to reply to your email in less than 24 hours?
Well, I mean, sometimes they do, but I mean,
sometimes they do, but you're not expecting, you're not entitled.
No, I mean, sometimes they do, but we tend to respond sort of the middle of the day. If they message in the morning, they'll get a response in a few hours. It's not
exactly.
That's not an unreasonable wait time if you ask me personally. I know everyone's different, but. Yeah, I don't think that would be unreasonable.
Everyone's point of view different. Yeah, but you can't accommodate for every single human being.
You can't, unless you employ someone who is on the computer responding to emails, and that's their job all day. Well, first of all, they would go mad, and second of all, most of the time, you just don't need someone doing it all day.
And that would increase prices for every single customer in regards to our services.
Yes.
And I don't think that guy who emailed us 15 times would like to pay 20 to 30% extra just in order for us to reply to him. So I think,
So, I mean, I know a lot of things can contribute to it, but looking at this, so what makes people leave bad reviews?
I think miscommunication or lack of information, or that we did not get the point across. And they did not get what we meant. They thought we were a bad company just because they did not understand something.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest point why people leave bad reviews. It's not that they are bad people. That's just they think that they've been misguided in some way or something like that. Because that happened with us. One of the bad reviews we received was about, oh my god, they list prices on their website, and these prices are not relevant, and you're gonna get the new price quoted, blah blah blah. And the person just did not understand that. We firstly tried to fix his game console.
Yeah.
And when we were not able to get it fixed, we asked for his permission whether he would be okay for us to quote for a motherboard replacement. Then he gave us that permission, and then we gave him obviously a high amount.
Yeah.
And he wasn't happy about it, but he did not read the emails. He just looked at the digits.
Yeah.
So when you called him up, and you explained him, he was extremely reasonable.
He was very reasonable. I think sometimes the bad reviews are left in the heat of the moment as well.
Yeah.
Like as you say, if you've not really read everything that's come to you, and you've just looked at those digits and thought, "Oh my God, 200%! What are you talking about?"
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna go and write them a bad review. Bang, send. That's better. I feel better.
And another thing is that people are still living in the pre-corona era.
That's what I had to explain.
So, the game console, for example, you can't buy a game console. They just don't exist. No one's making any. So, people are still think, okay, I paid like £200 for a game console, and now it broke down. I want to get it fixed, and they now quoting me £240. How does this work? But we know what the market is. You can't buy a new game console. You can only buy a used one, and the prices are extremely inflated due to this like shortage on the market.
Yeah, I mean, even though I said at the beginning of the episode today that some of the kind of limitations have been relaxed, it's not by that much, and it's not affected anything that we do. It's not affected electronic prices in the slightest.
No, people are not going back to the
normality.
Back to the factories to manufacture more game consoles.
Of course not. No. And even though things are maybe turning around to come back to a normal, it's not going to be normal for a while.
No, it's not going to be normal for a while. Yeah. So as I told you, like I was in touch with a person who works at Google, and they are not planning to open up offices until January. Yeah.
It's not the only place. I mean, a few of my friends work in offices, and they are still being told to work from home. And in terms of how long, it's just a foreseeable future. There's no point giving you a time. We don't know.
No, I don't think anyone knows. So let's talk about how we prevent bad reviews.
Yeah, and so this is, I mean, I think as long as the customers really know exactly what they're getting and what to expect, even if they get bad news, they'll be less inclined to leave a bad review. But sometimes it's getting that information to them in the first place if they will actually indeed read it. It's what you said really a moment ago when we requoted somebody and they left us a scathing review about price hiking.
Exactly, yeah.
It was in the emails.
Yeah, but you know what is the best way to avoid bad reviews? Just to have more good reviews. That's what we do. So we always request reviews from our customers, and we always ask them, "Can you please leave us a good review?" And there's a follow-up email where it asks them to leave a good review, and we kind of like during the Corona situation, Google completely stopped their review facility, and they just did not allow anyone to leave any reviews. And they just recently opened this up, and obviously the spiteful people went over and left not quite a few, like 2 or 3 bad reviews for us.
Not many.
So we resumed our review requesting facility, and instantly in a single day we received 10 good reviews.
10 good reviews, yeah.
So what I want to say that if we're not going to ask people to leave us a good review, we're not going to get, like, people are not inclined to leave a good review. They are inclined to leave a bad review when they're not happy and they're spiteful and they in a moment of rage. They will go online and they will put you...
Just dump a bad one.
Yeah.
But, see, when you actually ask for reviews, good ones, you know, but some people do facilitate that.
Exactly, and they go online and they leave us a good review, and that's extremely, extremely nice.
So this is why at the end of our videos we ask everyone to like and comment. It's an algorithm feeder.
it's exactly like that, because we know if we're not going to ask, no one's going to do it. Yeah. Right. Can we talk about our workload?
Yeah, let's do that, because even though things aren't coming back to normal, and I've said that a few times, but the government is trying to make things at least seem like they're going back to normal.
Yeah.
For us, though, the workload is still increasing. For
Yeah.
sure. For
For
sure.
us, still the work. But like we now are in good situation. Like all of our procedures are worked out. We worked everything out. We have solid system running. We have everything's in good place. Like we are managing. We're on top of our workload.
Yeah.
Yeah, like our service time is around 6 to 8 days now, I think, on the website. But we like everything is pretty solid.
Yeah. So I mean, the lead times are of course longer than it was before the outbreak, but everything is still stable. Just an increased workload.
Yeah, we still keep seeing people sending their devices in shitty packaging.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like,
never going to change.
You package something, you bounce it around. If it shits inside, it's not good packaging.
It's not good packaging.
That's a single rule.
Yeah.
Do not let it shift inside.
And one that I will never get, which has happened several times in the last week. Why would you send a PlayStation or an Xbox in a shipping envelope, in a bag, basically?
In a bag, in a letter.
It's basically in a letter. It's going to get crushed when it gets it gets here, and oftentimes it does.
Oftentimes it does, yeah. And then we have to report the damages, and then we are to blame, and they're not happy, and all that stuff. And just come on, package it safely. Put some bloody newspapers in, towels, or whatever you have.
Just whack it up. Everyone's got an old dirty jersey they don't want anymore. Just stick it in the wash, make sure it's dry and clean, and then send your stuff in the jersey. Boom, done.
It doesn't matter. And shut the box properly. How many times we've seen boxes coming over and they're completely open?
They've been crushed. Yeah, I think people don't. I think even though people just don't seem to realize that just because you're careful with your package, it doesn't mean the people that are delivering it necessarily will be.
Yeah.
Through
and the guys, the delivery couriers, they are extremely busy. They're not going to look after your single package. They have bloody 200 drops to do a day.
Yeah.
So they go.
Well, they do it at speed. Yeah, they just do it at speed, and sometimes things get damaged in the process, I'm sure.
Yeah. So we're still seeing kind of like long lead times from our suppliers, extremely long lead times. Especially like we've got few things from China, but now it suddenly stopped.
Yeah.
For some reason, it stopped. I think one of the things is that most of the packages that travel from China are within the actual commercial airlines. And commercial airlines are not carrying any passengers.
Yeah.
So therefore, there are not as many planes carrying packages as well from China and from Asia. So therefore, everything is late.
Everything is just late.
Everything's late. Everything's massively late. Yeah, and the courier companies like Hermes and like the low tier ones, they are extremely unreliable.
We've had a few things go missing or just not show up, and it's a nightmare, and it's a drain on resources trying to track these things
and trying to figure out where they are and returning them, and just like we buy a lot of stuff from eBay.
Yes,
and eBay just like you can't even claim a missing package because they extended these times to like months.
Yeah, that's it.
So if we ordered something, it gone missing, we can't even put a claim, and no one can do anything about it.
Yeah, especially if a seller ends up sort of dragging their heels about it, it's just
they always do.
Which they often do. Yeah, it does just increase the wait time for everything. But in terms of sort of how we're handling the longer service times, I mean, we've always had the system in place on our emails. You'll get a kind of notification email every couple of days.
Yeah, of what's happening.
Yeah, so even at the very least saying, we're still waiting for parts, or your job is this far in the production queue.
Yeah, and we recently, like a few weeks ago, we started implementing that every single quote we send lists our service time at the quote.
Yeah,
which we've been not doing before. So now every single time we quote the price, we always quote the service time as well. Yeah. Which is picked up automatically from the system, and the system calculates it based on like algorithms.
Yeah, and I do think that is important as well, because say with everything fluctuating the way it is right now, even our lead times are going to do the same.
Yeah. So communication I think is important. As you said, we let customers know every few days of what's happening, And I think like the more we communicate, the better service we can provide.
I think that's it. Yeah.
And hence the bad reviews, because we spoke about earlier, like miscommunication and lack of communication is probably the main reason why companies get bad reviews.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
I think that's it. Yeah, that's all we wanted to talk about today, this week. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've covered all the bases we wanted to. But just to summarize, so we were talking about people still trying to access the building. And
with malicious attempts.
With malicious intent and whatnot. So that was one particular incident that stuck with everybody. But just generally, if a building doesn't want to let you in, especially now, just respect the damn rules.
Yeah, just respect the human beings. Like, okay, the company just drawn a clear boundary. Like, it's on their website, the emails everywhere. Like, we're not letting people in. We just pay $9.99 and we'll ship it for you.
Yeah, that's
24 hours, you'll get it, you'll receive it. Just don't leave your house for unnecessary reasons.
That's the thing. Even the rules are, you can leave your house unlimited right now, but it is still for exercise. It's not just for taking a trip down to the shops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you can't spin it any other way. If you're trying to come in and we're saying you can't, then you can't. And if you do come in, you're breaking the laws. You're breaking the rules.
Yeah. We also spoke about bad reviews and how they affect small businesses such as ours, and especially with all of the service industry going online. That's one of the main factors when it comes to making a decision whether to go for that company or not. So bad reviews obviously leave an extremely bad reputation. Yeah.
They are damaging. You'll look at a place with a good review pool, if you like, and it's always the negative ones you'll kind of pinpoint on. It's just human nature. It's what you do.
Exactly. And our workload still increasing. But the good thing is that we have everything under control. All of our operations are solid. The only thing that we're experiencing is suppliers' lead times.
Yeah,
that's quite a bit longer. Yeah.
So I'm quite happy with how we've kind of managed the increased workload.
Yeah.
I think we've handled it very well. But the only thing we are really at the mercy of right now is, as you say, the suppliers' lead times based on those, and delays that can be caused by courier companies as well.
Yeah. So we would like to know your opinion of why people are ignoring the clear guidelines from the government and the businesses to actually avoid travel. And if you could leave your opinion in the comments, that would be awesome.
Yeah, this is actually one I'd really like to see a comment or two about. If the government has set guidelines, do you follow it to the wire? And if you don't, I guess there's no wrong answer.
How do you justify it?
Yeah, how do you justify it?
How do you justify it? Yeah. All right. So as always, thank you for listening to TFix Podcast, broadcasting from South London. And if you like our humble discussion, please share, like, and subscribe as usual. And join us next time where we talk about highs and lows of tech recycling life. Thank you.
Take it easy, guys.